Welcome back, everybody, to another update about the young guns and our rising stars from the Hatsubasho. And I gotta say, this was a fantastic tournament for the guys that were coming to recognize in these lower divisions. In Makushita, we had Nishikawa overcome the veteran Ryuden to win his Yusho. In Sandamne, we had two of the guys we're keeping track of compete for the title. And in Jonidan, only one person we're following had a Make Koshi, not including anybody injured. So, overall, really awesome tournament for all these young guys. Let's do the usual and start from the bottom and go to the top, not including Jonokuchi because those guys are still incredibly unproven and we'll probably put an eye on them later. In Jonidan, this is usually the division where men will fly through the ranks, either winning the Yusho, getting good winning records, or to put it simply, they won't lose here. Like I mentioned earlier, we only had one man stumble, and that was our newer addition to the list in Gaia. To be honest, I can't really say I expected him to succeed, and it was kind of a meme addition because he just went like 4-3 at the previous Basho, and he's really tiny. He's not shaping up to be the next Shonan Zakura, but I am a little cautious about him. I do want to see everybody succeed, but he doesn't look like the type of guy that will eventually be a powerhouse in the top division. Jonidan, other than him, was incredibly positive, but only one man went 6-1, and that was Raiho. We'll be glad to see his rise into the 4th division in only his 4th tournament, and with stablemates like Ishiura, Enho, and Mukainakano, who we will talk about in the Sandamne section, he has a lot of potential to rise up through the ranks with all of these really strong practice partners. After that, we have a handful of men who went 5-2 and 4-3. Well, the rest of the men we're keeping track of went 5-2 and 4-3. Those who went 5-2 include Mizuno, Go Seiryu, and Taniguchi. The likelihood that any of these men make it to the 4th division is low, but if anyone does it, Mizuno would be the most likely. But the last time someone at Jonidan 42 who went 5-2 made it to Sandamne was a man by the name of Ryuden all the way back in 1986. So it looks like he'll fall within the top 10 ranks instead. The rest of the men that went 4-3, including Ieshima, Asakiryu, Kiyonohana, Ono Fuji, Mogami Zakura, Abe, and finally Ito. Unfortunately for Ieshima, who's been sliding down the Banzuke, it looks unlikely he will return to Sandamne from Jonidan 22. The last time that happened was Yuzawa back in 2008. Similar to Mizuno, though, he will fall within the top 5 or 10 ranks. Unfortunately for our men absent from the tournament, Hitoshi was not from one of the stables affected by COVID, so he will be losing rank for whatever injury ails him. Fuji Izumi has also been out for the 2nd tournament in a row, and I have to say I do worry about his health. In Sandamne, this division is usually for the first big roadblock for many, filled with ex-3rd division men or other young and hungry rikishi that want to climb. It's normal to have momentum stop here, but nothing more than a road bump. And this division was fantastic for the young guns, with both Mukainakano and Osanai competing for the 4th division Yusho. Miyagino stableman Mukainakano would earn victory in the playoff, but I am very excited to see both of these guys in the 3rd division next Basho. Of the other winners, a small group went 6-1 and 5-2, with Yoshi on his return from injury, and a recent addition to the list, Marusho, attaining those 6-1s. Moji, Suguro, Miyagi, Kyoda, Nobehara, and Tatsuguchi all got 5-2 records. Moji, Osanai, Yoshi, and Mukainakano will be the ones to move up to the 3rd division, with Suguro most likely falling just short with his 5-2 from Sandamne 39. The sluggish climb for those who went 4-3 is a small group this time, only including Kiryuko and Hogasho. At least for Kiryuko, he maintains a streak of Kachikoshi, while Hogasho is fighting to try to return to his career high rank within Sandamne. I'll add that his growth has been slow, and he might find himself in danger of getting booted from my list of rising stars. Now for the unfortunate losers, we have Murayama, Nishida, Shunrai, Setonoumi, and Akisada tripping up with 3-4 records. For most of these guys, this is their first Make Koshi, which falls mostly in line with the expectations that the first road bump is indeed the 4th division. What was a small road bump to some was a larger mountain to climb for the following men who all ended with 2-5 and 1-6 records. Nagata, Takano, Chiyodeshi, Sakurai, Yoshino, and Takashoki all had larger losing records and might find themselves falling back down to Jonidan. But like I mentioned earlier, for most of this was their first Make Koshi, either in their career or at least within the past few tournaments. The outliers include Takano, Chiyodeshi, and the newer addition Sakurai, who are on a downward trend and also find themselves in danger of the boot off of my list. Finally, the only 0-7s were due to an injury, with Hagiwara taking his second tournament off in a row, and Shimoyama after a 2-5 tournament in November. Nishihara, who made his debut in the 4th division, also was out for injury. I will say it'll drastically decrease my workload by taking a lot of these names off my list, but it was injury. I'm not going to take them off just for that. But like I mentioned in my previous Young Gun video, it's usually 2 years to make it to the 3rd division and then another 1 or 2 to make it to 2nd division for the greats. And these guys are really stunting their growth right now. In Makushita, generally this division is very difficult even for the talented. It is rare that someone will fly past this division that features ex-Sekitori and many other skilled Rikishi that are hungry for their chance at a salary. This division had the most churning in the Hatsubasho with a lot of middling scores and only a few real standouts. Nishikawa surprised everyone by defeating Ryuden and taking the Yusho from the rank of Makushita 35 and will find himself within the top 15. Right below the 7-0 include one of the victims of Ryuden in Kanno, but that 6-1 will elevate him to those very tippy-top ranks. Fuji Seiyun from Makushita 24 and Fujitoshi from Makushita 45 also had really strong scores. These two college boys did incredibly well as Fujitoshi rides a wave of 3 consecutive 6-1 records. A good handful of men went 5-2 and 4-3, starting with the most notable of Atami Fuji, who will be making his salary debut at the age of 19, and I can only wish him luck in the future. Following him include Dewa Noryu, Fukai, Oshoma, Hokuseiho, Fuji Seiyun, Shishi, Nihon Yanagi, Mudoho, Naya, Arauma, and Kin Bolzan. They will all continue their slow climbs up the Banzuke, and generally, for most, it does come to a crawl at some points in this 3rd division, but the upward trend continues for a lot of these guys. The ones who tripped up slightly with 3-4 or 2-5 records include Shinohara, Hoku Tenkai, who is trending downwards the last 2 basho, Nabatame, who is doing the same, Hoshuzan, Hayate Fuji, Akiyoshi in his 3rd division debut, and Takeoka in his return to the division. I'll say that the most worrying as a rising star is Takeoka, who finds himself sliding between the 3rd and 4th division in the entirety of the past year, whereas other losers that aren't on downward trends were debutantes or near their career high rank already, posing that road bump or mountain like I said earlier. Should they continue to waffle, I can't confidently call them a rising star anymore, but we'll see coming into March. The biggest losers came in the forms of mid-basho injuries and near-total collapses, and luckily there were only few. Oshoryu was the only man to fight all 7 days, to have a 1-6 score, while the others in Ishizaki and Oshoumi took leave due to injury, attaining 2 losing records in a row for both of them. I wouldn't call it worrying for Ishizaki, who did have a very fiery start to his career, and this is his first injury, but this is the 2nd tournament in a row that Oshoumi has bowed out early due to injury. And as we near the completion of his 2nd year in sumo in March, I can only hope that he recovers and shows us why his career high rank is Makushita 7. He's fought through injury in the past, and I really hope for his sake he can fully recover from whatever is ailing him. Overall, this basho was incredibly good for the future of sumo. The total record comes down to the following. 3 men went 7-0, 6 went 6-1, 12 went 5-2, 17 went 4 and 3, 10 went 3 and 4, 8 went 2 and 5, 3 went 1 and 6, and then 6 of them were 0 and 7, 5 of them due to total absences, whereas the last one was a partial absence, for a total score of 234, 178, and 43 absences. So even when you add up the absences with the losses, it's still a positive record. An incredible tournament considering 3 7-0s, 2 of them having to duke it out for the Yusho in front of a crowd, which did indeed intimidate Mukainakano. But he stuck with it and won, and you can see that in his interview. As far as the next basho goes, we already know there are 2 men approved for Sandamne 100 Tsukedashi, 2 university boys, Kanzaki Taiga from Kinki University, and Hatsuyama Shou from Toyo University. I look forward to adding them to the list. If there are any notable standouts from Jonokuchi you think I should add, feel free to join and let me know in the comments below. I'll be looking for guys on my own time and mostly looking for those younger dudes who have, Hatsubashos within the past 2 years coming out of, Jonidan and Jonokuchi, mostly Jonokuchi, some of the younger guys. But, if there's anything you think I'm missing out on, or anyone that you think I might have skipped over, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to take a look at them, and if I think that they might be one of those big stars of the future, I'll definitely add them to the list. Thank you for watching, and if you like this content, be sure to tune into my Twitch streams every Sunday for even more sumo stuff when I break down matches, play Guess the Banzuke, and during the regular weekdays I play Mahjong, Dark Souls, and whatever other video games I like. So be sure to catch that live on twitch.tv/LeoDickinsonVT. I also host every single basho if I can help it, and commentate over the top 2 divisions. And, well, we have a really good and fun time. So if you like this content, be sure to tune into some of my streams. I doubt you will have a bad time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.